Acts 14, 8 through 18. Idolatry at Lystra. And in Lystra, a certain man without strength in his feet was sitting, a cripple from his mother's womb who had never walked. This man heard Paul speaking. Paul, observing him intently and seeing that he had faith to be healed, said with a loud voice, "Stand up straight on your feet." And he leaped and walked. Now when the people saw what Paul had done, they raised their voices, saying in the Laconian language, "The gods have come down to us in the likeness of men." And Barnabas they called Zeus, and Paul Hermes, because he was the chief speaker. Then the priest of Zeus, whose temple was in front of their city, brought oxen and garlands to the gates, intending to sacrifice with the multitudes. When the apostles Barnabas and Paul heard this, they tore their clothes and ran in among the multitude, crying out and saying, "Men, why are you doing these things? We also are men with the same nature as you, and preach to you that you should turn from these useless things to the living God, who made the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all things that are in them, who in bygone generations allowed all nations to walk in their own ways, unless he did not leave himself without witness, and that he gave us rain from heaven and fruitful seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness." And with these sayings they could scarcely restrain the multitudes from sacrificing to them. In this story in the book of Acts, Paul and Barnabas see a lame man and heal him, leading to the people around them trying to worship them as gods. And this just stuck out to me because it speaks against idolatry. When an accidental example occurs, Barnabas are so horrified and distraught they tear their clothes as if in mourning. That's how upsetting it is to them. They act as if they lost a family member. What's their response? Turn from these useless things, made the heaven, the earth, and sea, and all things that are in them. I'm just seeing the other verses they have. 1 Thessalonians 1:9 supports this, for they themselves declare concerning us what manner of entry we had to you, and how you turned to God from idols to serve the living and true God, and to wait for his Son from heaven, whom he raised from the dead, even Jesus, who delivers us from the wrath to come. This is Paul speaking to the Thessalonians. And I mean, how many of us have idols today? Even unintentionally. And people think idols, they think bad things, but it doesn't always have to be that way. It can be a family or a relationship or even the work you do for God. If you want an example, it's easy to read Me, Myself, and Bob, story of the creator of VeggieTales, who once discussed how he ended up making his work for God in the kingdom an idol. And you'd say, oh, but doesn't James also say faith without works is dead? Yes, but that's not what saves. What saves is faith. Works just prove that. Like how if you brush your teeth get stronger. Or if you're truly saved, you'll bring works and fruit. As Jesus says in the book of John. Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself unless it abides in the vine. Neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me, and I in him, bears much fruit, for without me you can do nothing. If anyone does not abide in me, he is cast out as a branch and is withered, and they gather them and throw them into the fire, and they are burned. That is John 15:4-6. And of course, the parable of the sowers discusses how essential it is to bear fruit. But it's not just Jesus who says that. I mentioned James, but also John the Baptist says it when he confronts the Pharisees. Every tree which does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Matthew 3:10. That was just what was on my mind today. That's why I want to discuss with you guys. Thank you. Thank you all.